Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you the final game in this MoonLight Pro League match. The super aces for each side are BarrackS, our Terran player in the top right of Butter, and Spire, our Zerg player in the bottom right. These two did already play, and it actually was on this map, and Spire took him down. So even though BarrackS is kind of the guy that's like in ASL every season doing well, Spire still able to beat him the last time they played. Of course, these two teams have given us some amazing games. Scan, Motive, and Spire, their team winning the Winners League between Motive and Scan taking down the games. And then, of course, BarrackS with Ruin and HM winning that best of 7. And Ruin even looking like he might be able to pull the Winners League match as well. But now it's time for BarrackS to stand up for his team. It feels like he has maybe underperformed a little bit, although I don't know if that is completely fair. You know, a lot of more people know BarrackS because he is a player that's in ASL all the time, but there's a lot of players that are ASL quality that just haven't made it in or don't make it in regularly, like, for instance, Spire that we see here. So, let's see how this goes down. It is a pool first with a drone scout here from Spire. BarrackS gonna go ahead and throw down his BarrackS right here. And yeah, I mean, that means he's completely safe against any incoming Zerglings. This seems like more of a... Well, I mean, maybe he will get aggressive. I don't think so. It's not a bad map, excuse me, to be honest, for things like 9-pool, just because there's no ramp, right? Like, the way to block a 9-pool is you put 4 SCVs on the ramp and you hold position Marines behind them, and then you just pull SCVs back. But if you place them just right, you know, there can be missed shots and things because of high ground. Here, that doesn't exist. Like, you can see everything perfectly as Zerg. You can micro it a little bit better. You're not going to miss any shots, things like that. But we'll see if he's actually able to get any damage done. The SCV coming across is going to spot that there's a bunch of Lings on the way. This drone is doing a good job with the harassment, like a really good job. It's put a ton of damage down so far. Very hurt SCV there. 6 Lings popping out. He sees this with his own SCV. He is actually kind of blocking them a little bit, slowing them just ever so slightly. It's normal when okay, he's actually just going to wall, and this is a great thing to do on this map. Both positions you can do this, where he could throw down a command center here and it will completely block, or a BarrackS would do that as well. But what's he... Oh, okay, he is waiting for the money for the command center. A little bit late. I'm a little bit surprised at what I'm seeing here. I guess he wanted the 2 Marines, but excuse me. I mean, the 2 Marines will kill them off more quickly, but if this SCV like traveled out, it's like a damage SCV as well. If he had Artosis lock, the SCV would be over here and the Lings would just kill it, right? And then maybe your next SCV does that as well. So yeah, like a little bit of risk, but this is a great way to block early pools on this map, to have that command center down. Walling this off, you're completely tight, you don't need a bunker or anything like that. So these Lings just going to go home, it looks like. Wouldn't be surprised if he turns one around, just leaves it, although the Overlord can see what's going on. Like, literally, nothing's coming out of the Terran base until the command center's done. This is tight. Nothing fits there. So looking back at Spire's base, he does have that layer. Morphing right now has his natural going up as well. We'll see if he goes for the double expansion. It doesn't look like he's going to. I think this is just going to be a pretty quick Spire coming up. You know, that is his namesake building, and of course he's very, very strong at Mulus control, so might be where he wants to go with this game. In the meantime, you see that BarrackS is rushing up into an academy as quickly as possible. So that's quite a quick academy, as well as gas, and the command center finishes up. So he's going to want to be able to put on a little bit of pressure with his Marines and Medics. You know, when your opponent... cut the earlier hatchery, cut some drones to be able to get these Zerglings out. It's a great idea to do some sort of pressure play. It's like... Oh my god. Oh, whoops. I screwed that up. I was trying to check the vision, but I accidentally clicked on the wrong name. Anyways, I think he saw the Hydralisk Den go down, okay? Because then Spire canceled it and threw down a Spire. So this can be a very, very tricky move, and we're going to see him scan as quickly as possible to check on it. Like, he should throw down a ComStat right now. There it is. Okay, so you really have to know about that. You know, obviously countering Lurker and countering Muta they couldn't be more different from each other. By the way, we don't see an engineering bay. There it is. Okay, okay. It feels like that's just slightly late, but because he has Marines and Medics, he can actually push out and maybe keep the Mutas back with that pressure. Now, third hatchery is going down here for Spire. Ling's just kind of running around, keeping tabs on where this bio army is. I think he's probably going to want to throw a Sunken down. His Spire... yeah, there it is. His Spire finishes up. We have 6 Mutas on the way. And when your Mutas are, like, already started before they get there, you don't need as many Sunkens. I think 1 is just about right in this situation. And, in fact, he even cancels it off as he knows the bio is not going to get there in time, and the Mutas actually will begin to massacre those Marines if they commit across the map. Now, we have range on the way as well as that +1 attack. Third racks coming up. Some missile turrets being added now, and the first Mutas have hatched. They are starting to make their way across this map. Before range, the Mutas are pretty good, but the range is very quick, and the Mutalist count is very small. Like, if you have 9 Mutas right now, you kill all this easily. But as is, it's 6. It's like, a little bit harder. A little bit harder to make that work. More Mutas coming up. Range is just about to finish here for BarrackS. Is giving him a lot of bravery while out on the map. Third gas coming up here for Spire. As the Mutalist count continues to grow. More Mutas being rallied in. A lot of turrets being made at home here for BarrackS. He has his 3 racks production now. He's actually building SCVs. So working on that economy still while just pumping out Marines and Medics. A lot of times what you'll see, though, is Terran skip SCVs to get the factory up a little bit quicker. Because if you're producing off 3 barracks and 2 command centers non-stop, you just don't get enough money for the factory. So eventually you do have to cut some SCVs to get that factory up. And you can see, yeah, he's been cutting a little bit here and there, and the factory has been started. There it is. Muta's just kind of dogging that Marine army for the most part. Good amount of turrets right now, so they can't just fly in and get a bunch of free damage or anything. The Bioforce starting to move out into the map. 1 Sunken here, none here. So that third base location could be a great place to attack. Oh my god! A little bit of a misplay there. Loses a Mutalisk for free as he flies into the Bio Army. Wasn't entirely sure where that's at, but now we have a full group of Mutas. So now Spire can really do his thing. Let's see what he can do against this Marine Army. Just kind of dogging it right now. BarrackS being very careful with his micro. You have to make sure that you have kind of like flat lines. He's going to, yeah, I was going to say he's going to lose medics here. You can't have the medics in front. That's exactly what the Zerg wants to see. And suddenly this army is a lot weaker with less medics in it. But yeah, what you want is a flat line of Marines in between the rest of your army and the Mutas. And he didn't quite have that, but he's getting decent damage right there. Reinforcements come down, but still only 2 medics. I don't think he can really break anything right now. Some good micro coming out of Spire. He's starting to reduce his Marine count quite a bit. More than a group of Mutas exist. Getting out some of these damaged ones, force them healthier. See if he can continue to whittle this down. Ooh, a little bit of a misclick there from Spire. Losing a couple more Mutas. BarrackS trading reasonably well, but now the medic's going to start to fall again. They're always waiting for that. They're repositioning. They're looking for where the medics are. They're trying to pick those medics off. And you definitely want to make sure they are not in the front because they will pick them off every single time. Another big swipe in. Starting to let his glaives really hit at this point. Loses a couple more Mutalisks, but he is going to kill the rest of these Marines. Jumps on top of them now. Very well done. Does have that +1 attack now as well. And that Bio Army is eliminated. But at the same time, we have double Starport Valkyrie at home. When those 2 Valkyries pop out, these Mutalisks are going to be just toast. It is crazy how strong the Valkyries are if you micro them correctly. Now, the full group of Mutas here still looking for some damage. A lot of Mutas being made. Spire is kind of all in on Mutalisks at the moment. So I'm feeling like BarrackS has done the right thing. Notice, okay, there is a Hydralisk Den, but he hasn't started the Lurker upgrade. He hasn't made any Hydras or anything like that. So really, the Valkyrie tech is going to destroy. As soon as he's launch a volley, Spire's going to know that he's almost dead. Oh, man. Okay, he turns and dives. This is a good move. Like, this is probably the only thing he could have tried. Oh, God. And then he loses a couple mutas out in the front. This is not looking good for Spire. I thought that was a decent move when he jumped on those Valks, but wasn't enough as he loses a bunch of mutas there, as well as some of his rallying ones. 2 more Valkyries are about to come out, and then 2 Vessels behind. It looks like BarrackS is in basically a perfect position. Look at those production tabs. Like, that tells the story better than I could. So much is being made right now. Such a solid economy and good production from BarrackS. He's got the right units to counter what's going on, and there's not enough time to get Lurkers out at this point. His mutas have to win it. And he has, like, a few Scourge. So there's, like, a slight possibility if the Valkyries, like, overcommit, he can Scourge them and then pick everything off. Like, the mutas can still fight okay against a bio if the Valks aren't there, but I don't see BarrackS making that type of mistake. Not someone that's in ASL this often. I think BarrackS is going to take it down for his team here in a moment. The mutas come over. They're trying to slow everything down. Here come the Scourge. Can the Scourge get the hit? No, they cannot. Beautiful micro there on the Valkyries. And it looks like the damage is going to be too much. That third base definitely going to fall. GG! BarrackS team wins the MoonLight Pro League.